the show.
Hello, everyone. How are you this evening? Welcome to another episode of the Happy Hour Show with Lindsey Vertner. And my name is obviously Lindsey Vertner. And in just a moment, I'm going to introduce my amazing guest. So beautiful. I'm so excited to chat with her this evening. But first, I want to remind you that this is a chat between all of us, not just me and her, but me, her, and you, okay? So make sure you comment, love, share this video out. Let us know you're here. Make sure you grab a drink and join the chat. Now, whether you put alcohol in your drink is up to you. That's your business, okay? But grab a drink and join the chat. And for those that don't know me, my name is Lindsey Vertner. I'm a peak potential strategist and transformational speaker. I teach female entrepreneurs and ambitious leaders how to master their mindset and increase their self-care, self-worth, and self-discipline. And I'm super excited to be sharing my guest with you. Her name is Rynette Upson-Bush. And when I tell you she's the bomb.com, she is the bomb.com. All right. So she is also called the Purpose Pusher, and she's a powerful speaker. She's the founder of the Next Level brand, founder and CEO. Her passion and adoration for helping people has moved her to chase her life's calling to educate, empower, and entertain women so that they can see more wealth, success, and happiness, which you know I'm all about. Yes. Rynette was selected as a 2019 Distinguished Community Leader honoree for the National Hookup of Black Women for her contributions and services rendered to her community. She was nominated as Educator of the Year for the Black Women Handling Business, and she is a trained sexual abuse awareness facilitator, facilitator and advocate for domestic violence. So welcome to the show, my guest, Rynette Upson-Bush. How are you?
I am awesome. I'm awesome. And I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes. And I see you already. Brandon, I love it. Next level chick right on your chest.
Ma'am, I'm ready.
So, hello, viewers. Make sure you comment, leave your questions for Rynette down below, and share this video out because I know we're going to talk about some good stuff. Now, I know I just introduced some of your accolades there, but tell the viewers, who is Rynette really? Who is she behind the scenes? When you take away all of the extras, who are you truly?
I am truly a woman who loves to have fun. I enjoy traveling. I enjoy hanging out with my husband, my children, and my grandchildren. I am, and I mean, the true passionate me. You said that I was a speaker, and that is what I love doing, pushing people on purpose for the purpose of walking in their purpose and their destiny. That's just my thing. Even though I might not be on the stage, I'm trying to talk to somebody every day and empower them and impact their lives as much as I can.
Awesome. So you are pushing them on purpose to live in their purpose. That's so amazing. And since you brought up purpose, how did you get started walking in your purpose? Because I know there are a lot of people out there that they aren't really sure what their purpose is in life. How did you know what your purpose was? Like, when was that moment?
Well, I have to take you back for a minute if you don't
mind.
Take us
back.
Anyways, as I was when I was a child, I always loved beauty, glam, and I wanted to be an actress. And I just thought to myself, I need to own my own business. And so I was so excited about that. And I used to say it and ask my mom, because she put me in acting and modeling classes and stuff. And she was like, no, that, that I don't know about that. So she did let me go like one time, and then not one time, but like a whole quarter I was doing the acting thing, and then she told me that was it. And I continued to talk about this, but her thing was, you need to go to college, you need to get married, get a house, the same thing that we hear over and over. And so it just kind of crushed who I wanted to be, and it kind of scaled me back. So as I went to this church, and I got around a group of ladies that were very positive, and they kept talking about their businesses and what they were doing and how it was excelling. And I was like, I don't know about all of that. They just were so positive. But they asked me to come to a business conference. And when I went to that conference, it just put me on a whole new level. It changed my life, because I knew that I had something more in me. I just needed the tools and to get around the right people in order to do that, and get my mindset together and learn to be positive, because I was the queen of negativity. That's sad to say, but that's what I was.
Oh my goodness. I can't even believe that you were the queen of negativity. We're going to have to come back to that in a minute, because I just can't even picture it. Rynette being negative? No. But that just shows how much we can grow and develop over time, but we have to make that choice to do that. So one thing that I noticed that you mentioned is that you were crushed. When your mom denied you that moment, it crushed who you were, who you felt like you wanted to become. And it's crazy, because just earlier today, I was doing a podcast interview, and we were talking about parenting and self-care and going after your goals and things like that. And I had mentioned how we have to be careful as parents. And I know you have children. FYI, y'all, she has 7 children. So she's been doing the damn thing while being a mother. Okay. So don't let that hold you back. But as parents, we have to be careful that we don't project our own fears and doubts and insecurities onto our children, because they pick up on that. They pick up on it subconsciously, and then sometimes directly. So tell us more about that moment.
Well, once I was in the school system. I ended up, my degree was in is in business. But when I was in the school system, because I really didn't have the job that I wanted, my mom was like, go teach. So of course I went to teach. And I kept saying to myself, I know there is more for me. And in 2012, I was just like, you know what? I'm tired of talking about it, because I had tried over and over and over. And I was like, I'm just doing it. This is going to be a faith walk. I am not going to turn back. And so 3 weeks into the school year, I left, and I decided that I was going to go after being my own business, having my own business, being an entrepreneur, something I had been wanting to do since I was a child. So I just did it. I mean, I just decided I'm not doing this anymore. I came home, I told my husband, I say, I'm gonna quit my job. What do you think? He was like, you already made up your mind. Why are you asking me to do it?
Right. At least he knew.
Yeah. I the next day I went in and said, this is my last day.
Awesome. That had to have been some feeling for you, because again, I know that there are a lot of viewers out there that are too afraid of failure or rejection, or that feeling of I'm not good enough, to even take a moment like that where they're willing to say, you know what? I know, like, this is great and all, but I know it's not it. So I'm going to quit, and I'm going to see y'all later.
Yes, it's scary, but we have to do it scared. And the only thing that stops fear is action.
I love that. The only thing that stops fear is action. Did y'all hear it? Because I'm going to say it again. Miss Rynette said the only thing that stops fear is action.
Yeah. Yes, because you know how you're scared to do something. If you think about anything in your life, oh my God, it's so scary. Like, even if you're getting ready to get on a roller coaster, your heart is beating fast and it's so scary, and you get on it and you go, you have the thrill, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this again. And so
Right.
that's what happens when you step out in fear. Just do it scared. I mean, and that removes that fear.
Usually it's that first step or
Yep.
getting going that we're most afraid of. And oftentimes after those first steps, like it gets easier. That doesn't mean that fear completely goes away,
Right.
but we learn how to manage it and make it work for us. One thing I always like to say is that when you live in fear, you fail to live. And that is so, so true.
Absolutely.
So many of us are not living to our maximum potential because we're allowing fear to hold us back.
Absolutely. And we just can't live like that. And most of the time I always say, because I heard it a long time ago, fear is friends, enemies, and relatives. Because it's usually those friends that are saying, girl, you go, I don't know, and then you already know your enemies don't like you anyway. So, you worry about, well, what if I look this way, or what if what they gonna say? They're already talking about you. So what? And
Right?
then and the A is and then the R is relatives. Our relatives, such as my mother, she loves me. She wanted me to be safe. She didn't want me to go out there and maybe feel like I'm going to lose all my money trying to put it into the school, or, I'm leaving this secure job. I've been there for 17 years. I'm in the school system, teacher, administrator. I was an adjunct professor at the University of Phoenix for 6 years. And so I had to give all of that up to do what I was going to do. And so her and my other relatives and people that, girl, you sure you want to do that? You know how many people want your job? Well, maybe you need to think about it. Well, maybe you need to just try to do it on the side. No, I'm doing it now, and this is what I'm gonna do. So I just made up my mind. I kind of had to be quiet because I couldn't let all of that into my head space. I didn't need to hear all of that negativity. So I had to keep moving. And sometimes you have to do stuff in silence, which I'm sure most people know.
Yes, yes. It's one thing that I often share is that sometimes people can only support us for as high as they've taken them themselves.
Right.
And that's no diss towards us or anything, but they don't have the emotional capacity to support you and cheer you on when they see you going out there reaching for your goals and crushing things, and they've held themselves back for their
Yep.
own limiting beliefs. So we have to be okay with that and know that, your doubt and your fear is not mine. And I have to be careful to mind my surroundings and my environment, not to take on your fear and your doubts and your
Yep.
negativity.
We have to let them keep that. We
Yes.
can't. Yeah, we can't handle that. We can't take it. We don't need it because we're trying to do something. And as we step out and do what we do, we become an example to them. And a lot of people that have seen my walk, they have been able to think to themselves, wow, I can do this too. Sometimes people just need an example. They just need to see
Mhm.
somebody else do it, because a lot of times, like I said, it's the friends and the relatives that kind of want to keep us safe. So I think that's what it is, that holds people back many, many times. It's a couple of other things, but a lot of times it's the people that are in our ear.
Yes, yes. Now, I noticed you just mentioned your walk. I know where you came from. And earlier you mentioned you were the queen of negativity. So
Mhm.
let's run that back and let's talk about that. What was going on back then? How were you? Because I'm still having a hard time picturing.
Well, basically, like I said, growing up, actually, when I was growing up, I don't know if y'all know, but Sidney Poitier, first black actor, that's my uncle. So I watched him. That's my grandfather's brother. I watched him grow up, and I saw, glam, just everything. It was just so cool to me, and I wanted it so bad. And my mother was like, "No, you don't need to. No, don't get into that." And everything, the people that I was around, as I grew up, it was just a whole negative circle. So I grew up in negativity. They weren't bad people, but maybe bad for what I was doing. And so every time somebody will say something, negative, I'm in agreement. Oh, child, yeah, I know, and then I'm adding to it. And I go to church every Sunday, and I listen to the pastor, and I hear that, and I just hear it in church. But then when I come out of church, I'm thinking to myself, well, that sounded good, but I know it won't work for me, because usually when I tried stuff, it never worked for me. But it never worked because everything I started, I was always like, I don't know if it's gonna work. Well, maybe not. You know what? I'm gonna just quit. And I never had a positive attitude. Everything I talked about, I killed it with my mouth. So I always talk about put your mouth on it, and you have to put your mouth on what you see, what you want to see. You have to put your mouth on what you believe, and not what you see in the natural. What you want to see is what you put your mouth on. And I lived most of my life, it's so sad, but the majority of my life, I lived it in a negative space and place. And anybody that talked to me about positive stuff or told me what I could do, you know how you say, they so stupid, they don't know what I've been through. They don't live my life, and I just
Yes.
and I learned, and I learned that Facebook, when I got around the right people, was for positive stuff. Because I used to be one of those people on Facebook picking at people, talking about people, gossiping, silliness, foolishness. Like I said, I was negative, but God turned that all the way around.
Yes, and that's what matters. Going back over here to the comments, Victoria says we have to be our biggest cheerleader, and that is so, so true.
Yes.
If you aren't believing that you're worth it, then why should anybody else believe that you're worth it? Because they're going to treat you how you tell them to treat you and how you allow them to treat you. And so you mentioned another thing about putting your mouth on it, which I was going to ask you about that because you have a book called Put Your Mouth on It. And for y'all little nasty heathens out there, it's not your sex help book, okay? This is about the power of your words and the power of your thoughts and speaking life over yourself. Absolutely. So tell us about Put Your Mouth on It.
If you want it, all you have to do is speak on it, and then you have to take action. You have to put your mouth on what you believe in. And this year specifically, I didn't know when I was writing this book that this year was prophesied, 2020, as the year of the mouth. When we open our mouth, God will fill it. So that book was truly, and I heard God say, this book is supposed to be called Put Your Mouth on It. And even when I told my husband, he was like, excuse me? I said, yeah, that's what God told me. He said, you sure God told you that? You might need to talk to your preacher. And even when I told the publisher, she said, well, church people not going to like that. And, I think you need to speak to the pastor and try to, maybe change the name. I said, God already told me I'm not changing anything. And I was, made up in my mind, because I learned from my own self how I changed my language. When I changed my language, I changed my circle. I changed my whole life with the words that I was speaking. I changed my mind. I changed my life. I just changed everything. And so I went from, the dark, and like the light came. And even now when things happen, I just try to continue to see the light. And because I learned to put my mouth on what I want to see instead of what's in the natural, and I'm going to believe it. And I know that when God tells me it's going to happen, he's never going to leave me nor forsake me. And so I'm going to put my mouth on stuff. Even when I was talking about seeing the light, when I left the school system to find a building, that was the first order of business. 6 buildings fell through. Now, if I was still the negative woman that I used to be on the first building, knowing that I could go back to the school system, because so many principals told me, girl, I need an administrator. Girl, you could come back. You got a job. I can go get a job today. But they weren't believing in my dream. So even though those buildings kept falling through, I just kept saying, God, this is a faith walk. I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. And it was the 7th building. That's the building that became the school. And from that point, when we got the 7th building, all kinds of wonderful accolades. I mean, the first year opened the Orlando Magic Preschool of the Year. We were chosen by the Magic NBA team. They came in, they read to our kids, they gave us tablets, they bought every single child book bags. We became accredited nationally and internationally. I mean, I could just go on and on, but what really just like was like so amazing, we were working so hard in the business, on the business and everything like that. By the time it was 14, 15 months and it was time for taxes, and the accountant said, do y'all realize y'all have made over $1 million in this business? And you know, most of the time it takes 5 to 6 years. Most of the time you lose money. The first couple of years, but because I put my mouth on it, because I believed what God said, even though so many people, and we went through obstacle after obstacle. I mean, I won't go and tell a long drawn out stories how many people were against us and how a lot of the times when we got the building, I mean, they called code enforcement. They said we were running a strip club, we were selling drugs, just foolishness. But you know what? I kept my eyes forward. I didn't turn to the left or the right. I kept on. I knew what God told me, and I continued to put my mouth on it. This is my business. And I kept saying $1 million business, $1 million business.
Yes,
so
you better.
God turned it into. I put my mouth on it.
Yes. I love that. I love that. Rynette says to Rynette, y'all both are named Rynette, what a wonderful testimony. And that is so true, because that's one reason why we have to remain faithful in whatever we do. In first class life, I always say F is for faithful. Faithful in spirituality and faithful in who you are as a person and how you show up for the world. And because you were faithful to what you knew to be true and for the plan that you felt was laid out for you, you was doing it. You were doing it. You killed the game the first year out, despite everybody around you spewing negativity, again, because they're not doing what they want to do. They're not following their dreams, living out their purpose. And so the next easiest thing to do is to project their fears and their doubts onto somebody else, which you were shining. So you were the target.
And people don't want to, it's so sad, but it's so true. People don't want to see you shine because it's not about your shine. It's about their failures. They start to see what they could have been. Instead of going to try to get it, it's easier for them to try to dish you and give you shade, throw shade and all of that. Instead of finding out, like, you know what are you doing? How can I get this? But half of the time they don't want to come back to you because those were the ones that were talking about you, you're not going to do this. It's not going to work. And that's the kind of stuff. And when you learn, like I said, once I learned to get away from that negativity, all of that kind of stuff. And it was very hard for my family to accept when I'm raising kids and I'm this negative. And, I'm telling my kids, they're asking to go somewhere. You have a lot of kids, you got school clothes for everybody, books for everybody. Everybody was like in college and they're asking for, I ain't got no money, don't ask me for that. I just can't, and I'm like, so, when I started talking different, what's wrong with you? They were looking at me like, where's this coming from? Who is this woman? And so it's a process for my family to, even now, some of them got it. Some of them are still working on it, but I decree and declare that they will all get it.
Yes. I love it. So over here, Rynette says, I want your book and that t-shirt. Yes. Well, you see her info floating on the screen every now and then. Check it out. And Erica says, hey, Lindsey, thanks for tuning in, Erica. We are glad you are with us. And I think that this would be a great time to find out exactly
what's in your cup.
So here on the Happy Hour Show, our signature segment, we always like to find out what you're sipping on, okay? Because you are spilling the juice and spilling the tea over all our ears, and we are so grateful to catch this juice and this tea and put these nuggets of knowledge in our brain. So we want to find out what you're sipping on, and then make sure you give your cup some nice cup cam.
Yes, Next Level Chicks, of course, brand. My initial on the other side. And what I am drinking is homemade Arnold Palmer. I have sweet tea and lemonade.
Nice, nice. Put that
Yeah.
stuff up there again. See, this is the thing. I am not a branding coach, but oftentimes because I work with entrepreneurs, we often go over their brand, and just kind of making sure it's meshing with who they say they are, who they want to be, their values and things like that. And so I just love it because oftentimes people will be like, Lindsey, purple this, purple that, and smiles and happiness. And yes, because that's my values. That's my brand. So just to see you have Next Level Chicks on your shirt, Next Level in your glass, like that is amazing. Talk about branding, y'all. Take note. And if you're just tuning in, we are on the What's in Your Cup segment. Make sure you tell us down below what you're sipping on. What's in your cup at home? Tell us in the comments. Tell us in the comments. And make sure you share this video out, okay?
Yes, yes.
Today, Miss Lena says, good to see you, ladies. Good to have
Hey,
you.
Lena.
In, Lena. Yes. What are you sipping on, Lena? Let us know. Let us know. And so in my cup today, I have a hot drink. And we're almost kind of the same, but mixed with nope, we are the same, except my tea is different. I don't have sweet tea. I have peach tranquility tea mixed with
Okay.
lemonade, and it's steamed, so it's nice and hot. And then here's my cup.
Loving that.
Throwing
That
up
is so
peace
cute.
sign. And then
Ooh.
if you tilt it just a little bit, it says peace on the rim.
Oh, that's cute. I
Yes, yes.
love.
So as
That
a
is so
speaker, we
cute.
use our voices a lot. And I noticed I've been getting a little hoarse lately because I've been yapping my mouth day in and day out. So I was like, I need to sip me on some hot beverages here lately. And we have Miss Lena is drinking some fabulous water, which is very much needed. I got a bottle of
Okay.
water right here as well. And Erica is drinking on some Coke.
Okay.
Is it Coke and Hennessy? Is that what they mix with Coke? Or is it just plain Coke? Is it legit Coke or it's got a little special ingredient in it? I don't like Coke and I don't like dark liquor, so I don't know what it is that they mix with Coke. What is it? Coke and rum? Is that what they say? I don't know, child. I don't know. And we have Victoria sipping on some wine. Ooh.
Okay. Okay. Some libations, huh?
Yes, yes. Hashtag no judgment zone. Whether you sipping on something kosher or something a little extra, we love you just the same. So
Always.
thank you for sharing what's in your cup. And now getting back to the show, because you are certified in sexual abuse awareness and domestic violence, and being able to facilitate workshops and things around that nature. So I just want to know, like, usually whenever we are involved with sexual abuse or domestic violence or things of that nature, it usually hits close to home from some kind of way. Maybe we're a survivor, or maybe we've witnessed it with our family or things like that. So tell us your story. How did you get involved working with sexual abuse and domestic violence?
The reason I really got involved, I don't really do a lot of it now. I do, but I don't. Let me explain. So I was in a situation, a one and done situation. Sometimes you're just doing stuff and I had me a little boyfriend in college. I did not understand that. I understood that I shouldn't have been with him, but you know how you get with somebody and just doing something. And one day he got really upset with me. We got in an argument about the radio station, and we were living together. He came home and he kicked the door in, being angry. And basically, he turned on the shower and tried to kill me, had my head up under the water. And it was just a terrible thing. And it was only because of his sister calling the police and some neighbors, and they came together to pull him off of me. And so I did escape with my life. And what I didn't do was press charges. Well, I did press charges at first, of course, then I dropped them. And I felt bad that I had done that, but I was like, well, it's just what I'm doing at the time. But as I started working in the school system and I started seeing so many girls that were going through this, over and over. I was hearing stories, and I just kept saying, I can't be silent. I got to open my mouth. I got to talk about what has happened. And so at that point, I started sharing my story. I wrote a book with 4 other educators called Teacher of the Year, which talks about domestic violence. And therefore I just started sharing it out. And so especially during domestic violence month, I go and I talk to different groups. I spoke on a cruise ship last year to a domestic violence group. So my main thing I talk about is purpose. And that was another thing that opened me up and made me think, you know what, I got to talk about purpose, because a lot of women that have been through domestic violence, they feel like they don't have a purpose anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Their dreams have been crushed. Their dreams have been killed. And so it doesn't matter what you've been through. You still have purpose. You still have a reason to be here. So that's huge in speaking on that. So when I go or I'm called on different platforms, I'm always open, willing to speak on that. Love it.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes. That is so, so needed. And especially when you say working in the schools and seeing it happen with girls, like we don't realize how young domestic violence situations can start. And oftentimes when we think of domestic violence, we automatically go to like the getting punched in the face type of things and black eyes and all of that stuff. But domestic violence also includes emotional abuse and psychological abuse. And unfortunately, so many people are suffering from those things and don't even realize it because they're not getting hit on and they're not getting beat up on. But whenever somebody is emotionally abusive to you, calling you names, isolating you from your family and your friends and your support systems, all of that is domestic violence.
Absolutely. And you know what? That's the part that I didn't realize, because for the longest, it didn't just start that day. I didn't realize that until later, till, I found out, because I grew up in a 2-parent home. My parents didn't argue and go back and forth. That wasn't something that I was used to.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know somebody calling me out of my name and all of this kind of stuff. I'm arguing back and, going on with them, instead of realizing that, you know what, my worth doesn't I shouldn't be doing this. I'm worth so much more. I'm valuable. Why am I allowing somebody to treat me this way? And I know you just mentioned girls, but it's just so prevalent even amongst boys. That's the part that was just like, oh, I mean, all of it was just heartbreaking. And that's what really made me open up and, decide I need to talk more. I need to do more. I need to do my part. So I started with the domestic violence and really, facilitating workshops for girls, for women. And then we started getting so many men that wanted to, have discussions and stuff like that. So as I was doing that, and I really started getting into mindset, personal development. And so that's where I am today, where I teach mindset, personal development courses and stuff like that. Because if you don't master your mind, then you won't master anything else. And so when you've been through trauma, no matter what it is, like you said, whether it's sexual, and now they have cyber bullying, and all this different stuff that has happened with the new age and the technology. And so I just feel like my biggest thing is, because of where I came from, because of a lot of different things that I went through, it wasn't until I changed my mind that I changed my life. So that's whether it's domestic violence, whether it's, you came from a negative family, whether you came from poverty, no matter where you came from, that's not where you have to end up. So my biggest thing is to help people get their mind right so they can get their life right.
Yes, I love that. Get your mind right so you can get your life right. And Erica says, yes, that is true. It is also includes sexual abuse. Yes, 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 yes. Just because you have been intimate with someone prior does not give them the right to be intimate with you whenever they please, anytime after. Just because you know somebody and maybe you kiss them and then you said, you know what? I'm going to stop right there. That doesn't give them the permission to keep going. Anytime you say no, even if it's with a significant other, if you say no, that means no.
Right, right. And so, it's such a taboo subject. Even, I mean, people are coming out more today, but just as many people that are coming out is still so many people that are silent. And
Mm.
silence means that, I have permission to keep on. That means I'm consenting. When you're quiet and you're not saying anything, no, you're not consenting. That's what you think. I'm being quiet, I'm keeping this a secret. But the person who is the abuser said, oh, well, they aren't saying anything. Let me continue. So we have to open our mouths. We have to speak up. And that's one of my platforms. But like I said, I've really gone on a mission to impact lives by helping people to really get their mindset right. Well, I do personal mindset, and then I do help, business people get their mindset right as well. But like I said, it all starts here. And a lot of times people are spending up a bunch of money trying to, buy things to make them feel better, do better, when if you already have for free, your mind is free, it didn't cost any money, but you need to work on it. And so you could buy all the clothes and the jewelry and put on the makeup and try to hide that. That's not going to fix your mind. So like I said, in order for you to move forward in anything, because we have so many self-limiting beliefs, and so many things that have been placed upon us. We weren't born like this. You didn't know about low self-esteem. You didn't know about not being valuable. People put that on you. And so we don't know how to return stuff back to the sender as we should. When they give us their opinions, when they give us the negativity, when they tell us what we can't do, when they tell us we're too old, we too fat, we too black, we too skinny, we too tall, you always something. Return all of that stuff back to the sender where it came from, because we weren't born with that. So we got to get our minds, when you know who you are and whose you are, and you understand what your purpose is. And I'm really, really passionate about this. People can't talk you out of your purpose and what it is you're supposed to do when you know who you are and whose you are. And your mind is made up.
Yeah. Yes. I love that. I love that. And so what would be that tip, 2 or 3, that you would give to somebody out there that doesn't know what their purpose is? How would you help them begin to identify, what is my purpose?
Well, one of the things, if you find yourself thinking about it over and over, you dreaming about it over and over, somebody is saying, girl, you are so good at that. Oh my God, that is your gift. And you just doing it and you lose track of time. You should probably recognize, you know what? This is my purpose. If you think about it, dream about it. I mean, wake up wanting to do it every day, all day, and you start working towards it, researching it, becoming the expert in this thing that you love doing, and you just can't put the book down that you're reading about your purpose. That's what you're supposed to be doing. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And if you pray about it and you ask God, I mean, I never ever thought that I would be a speaker, because I love speaking, running my mouth. And when God told me that, I remember the day, and I was driving, I was like, oh, whoa. And so me writing these books, people calling, girl, I need you to be on the Writers Guild, and I want you to do. That's not a part of I write books and all of that, but my purpose is I'm a speaker. I help people develop their mindset. I know what my purpose is. And so people can't talk me out of it. And once you decide what your purpose is, that's why I really work on people and implore them to understand who they are and whose they are. You got to start working on who you are, start writing down what you want in life, what type of environment you want to look at. And next level, when I talk about next level, just like you talk about first class, that's a whole lifestyle. People don't understand that. It's not just, they may think first class is where you sit on the front of the plane, or next level because you're driving this or driving. It's not about what you drive. It's not about that. It's a whole lifestyle. It includes your whole area. Every area of your life. Because, what is it to be? Some people are the boss at the job, but then they get home and their children running them, their husband running them, talking to them. You're not a boss, not all the way around. If you're going to be the boss in every single area of your life. You understand what I'm saying? So lifestyle, the whole lifestyle has to be whatever it is. Next level, you have to know the purpose. So when you know the purpose and you're looking at every area of your life, people can't talk you out of your purpose. And I have had some very expensive lessons because I didn't know what my purpose was. I
Mm.
know who I always knew I was God's child, but I didn't know what God wanted me to do. So I just let everybody come tell me what to do, how to do it. So, and that's one thing, when you understand your purpose, don't let people tell you this and you run around doing this, that, and everything else when you already have everything you need inside of you. Your purpose is already there. So step in, walk in it, live in it. Just be sold out on your purpose.
I love it. I love it. That is just amazing. And I think that this would be a great time to
30-second hot shot. Answer the question in 30 seconds or less, or take your shot.
Yes, to play a game called 30-second hot shot. And what this is that you're going to have 30 questions to answer questions from the audience. I said 30 questions to answer.
I was about to say, I got 30 questions or 30 seconds.
Y'all don't mind me. It's been a long day, okay? You're going to have 30 seconds to answer questions from the viewers, okay?
Okay.
If you don't get it in 30 seconds, then that means you got to take a hypothetical shot. It can be real, it can be air, it can be juice, it can be your tea. It's up to you, okay? So
yes, ma'am.
The timer ready. Timer. Put 30 seconds on the clock. Get my handy dandy questions here. Okay, so the very first question is, how do you create a life around your passion?
You find the things that you love and you work on them and you continue to plan around your passion and walk in it.
Oh, with 19 seconds to spare. Okay. Let's restart the timer. And so the next question is, what does it mean to live on the next level? Go.
Living on the next level means that you don't subscribe to the everybody, the average, the ordinary, and the mediocre. Next level is your only option, and for every area of your life.
Okay, with 17 seconds left to spare. Nice. Girl, you killed that game. You didn't have any timers go off or anything. And so this next question, I always like to ask all of my guests, and you have more than 30 seconds to divulge with this answer. But as you know, I am all about happiness and teaching others to live their first-class life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. So I have to ask every single last one of my guests, how do you intentionally create happiness in your life?
I can answer now, or you looking for? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can take as long as you need.
I create happiness in my life. I wake up with intention, because that's very important. I wake up with intention. I start off with prayer. I start off with journaling. I affirm who I am, who God said I am, and I continue to walk in that the entire day, even when things happen that don't look like the way I wanted it to look. I pull out the lesson from the failure, and I take from it, I learn, and I keep it moving. I gotta stay happy.
Nice. Now, hopefully you guys have been taking notes. We've been dropping gems about purpose and all kinds of things. And if you're just tuning in, make sure you comment and like and share this video out, and go back and watch the replay of all the rest of the things that we talked about. And so, Miss Rynette,
yes, ma'am.
People, where can they find you? Where can they get your offers? If they want to connect with you, how can they do that?
You can find me on Facebook under Rynette Upson-Bush. You can find me on IG under Rynette Upson. And you can also, I'm at RynetteSpeaks.com, RYNETTE speaks.com. That's my website. And you can find me there.
Awesome. Do you have any offers or anything for the viewers today?
Well, right now, I'm just getting ready to open up two things. My Next Level Chicks is a membership for women that are part-time entrepreneurs, and they are ready to level up their mindset, make more money, and fire their boss. So that's the one thing that I'm offering. I'm gonna be talking about that because so many people, they start that part-time business, side hustlers, and I see them, they get caught up in their job. So even though they have a dream, they put the dream to the side instead of working on it every day. So that's one of the things that I would love to offer you, to come on in to Next Level Chicks.
Yes, yes. And actually, just on Tuesday's episode, we were discussing, how do you pursue your passion when you're living paycheck to paycheck? So if you missed that, make sure you go back and watch the replay from this past Tuesday. And then also, you see it right down there on the screen. Sign up for updates for the happy hour show at bit.ly/happy updates, and make sure you tune in every Tuesday and sometimes Thursdays. And actually, September, we will be here for most every Tuesday and Thursday as well. But to make sure that you stay tuned in, sign up for updates, bit.ly/happy updates, so that you can find out about special happy hour specials from my guest that's only given to subscribers. And you can stay updated on special airings or special times or anything like that. So I want to thank my guest, Ms. Rynette Upson-Bush, for coming on. She is just an awesome, awesome lady, CEO and founder of the Next Level Chicks brand. And again, my name is Lindsey Vertner, peak potential strategist, transformational speaker, and your host of the Happy Hour Show with Lindsey Vertner. And I will see you guys on Tuesday, September 1st at 9 p.m. Eastern, as I bring on my next guest, Miss Dr. Stevie Aisha Mills, a visibility coach and PR strategist. So thank you, thank you, thank you for tuning in. And with that, see y'all on Tuesday.